Next question is from Raymond, and he says, I'd like to know a little bit more about Manny's process. What's the first thing you look for in a mix? When do you start adding effects, mix bus processing, and do you use a lot of parallel compression? Basically everything. We want to know everything, Manny. So are elements mainly processed on their own, or are they grouped and processed together, etc.?
Well, look, in today's world, having roughs, a lot of those decisions have been made for you. I can't say that I strip everything and start from the ground up. Never do that. You don't need to, actually. So today, most of those decisions have been made for you. Now the trick today into today's mixer, the key is, it's like a chef. We have all these ingredients. How much salt, how much acid, how much of it do you put into this thing? And my approach is just about emotion. I listen to the rough. That's the first thing I do, and I used to take physical notes. Now I take mental notes on what I want to keep, what I want to do. So if you're looking at a mixer from, hey, how do you decide to put reverb on this and that? That to me, in my shoes, that's I don't think of it that way. I see it as an emotion, and I think that's the biggest mistake that a lot of people make. It's like, how much reverb do you, how much low end, and how much this, and you know
The
what?
answer to
None of
everything
that
is just
matters.
yes. You
None of
know,
that matters. You know what matters is, how does the song make you feel? And then
Hmm.
my style, my approach is as needed. So I can't say that I'm conscious about how much top end, low end, reverb, kick, snare. I'm not conscious about any of that. I'm like, does the snare like is that piercing snare? Why is that? Why is it like that? Well, you know what? Maybe the production isn't that. Maybe it's a younger producer, and it needs a little bit of that Tabasco, and I'm gonna mind fuck it and give you a loud ass snare that all you're gonna think about is the snare and the vocal, because the rest of the production isn't up to par maybe for the rest of the songs on the album. So there's a million different things that you got to think about, but I never go into it with, oh, I wonder how much reverb I'm going to put today. Just use as needed. The rough, if you're a mixer and you get roughs, listen to it and see what you can make better, or not, or keep from the rough. So all those decisions kind of have been made for you. It's just a matter of what your taste is like, how you present it, and how you really create more emotions. So it sounds like a lot of people are asking obviously technical questions, and that's all good, but just make sure you pay attention to the song. The song will actually answer a lot of those questions for you. You don't even have to overanalyze it, or overthink it. It will do it for you. Now if you're a producer, that's a whole different conversation, by the way. And there's a lot of lines are blurry right now between producer and mixer and engineer. So if you're a producer mixing your own stuff, that's part of production. So make sure that, again, you're uh, when we do like these mix with the master seminars, I always tell producers, like, hey, you gotta almost put that hat on, and be very conscious of which hat you have on. To me, that question is more of like a producer hat. Like, that's a production call. Now, when you're mixing it, if you produced it, put that mixer hat on, and don't keep producing, because the biggest mistake I've seen made is producers that are mixing their own stuff. They're mixing, but they're still producing, and you're gonna just do this, and you're gonna be lost. And that's why we still have a job, because they're like, "Fuck, I can't do this. I'm so frustrating." And then you give it to someone like us, and we kind of help you finish that record, because you're too lost, you're too in it. So try not to think of it as like, what's your approach with effects and this. There is no approach. I have no approach. I have, my responsibility is to make sure that that song, and these tools, just think of them as different emotion to put into that song, because no one's going to care what reverb you use at the end of the day. No one gives a fuck at the end of the day. You know what happens is, does this song make me want to cry, dance, uh, hang out with my friends, do drugs, drink, whatever that is? Your responsibility is that, not to focus on reverbs and delays and all that. Just make sure you know why you're putting some of those things on the record. And I always say, does it make it sound better or feel better? And you know which one I'm going to say. I'm going to go for.
And I think, again, it goes back to the John Mayer mix where you didn't know that the vocal was bone dry. And what the point is there is no point at which you say, now I have to go look at the vocal and see what effects I'm going to put on it. Like, I am as likely to start with the stereo bus as I am with the kick drum EQ.
Yep, yep,
And I'm
yep.
going back and forth between those sort of things, which when you're learning feel as though one of those things is very zoomed out and one of them is very zoomed in. They're exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
They're exactly the same.
We always talk about the foundation. I think you do have to have a foundation. For me, as the drums, maybe because I'm
Hmm.
a frustrated drummer, I always start with the drums, even if there's no drums in the song. So whatever the rhythmic section is, just have a foundation and then build from that, and build based on emotion, not necessarily on toys or EQs or any of that. Build on what we've been talking about, what's the true essence of that song. And that's our responsibility, man. That's what I feel like a lot of people forget that. We get caught up in the toys that we have, which toys are just tools. Just remember that they're just tools to help you get that emotion across.
So I got to interject a question here. You talk about the
So well
frustrated
said.
drummer thing. Have you ever mixed anything with Abe playing on it? And did
Yeah,
you intentionally make him sound bad?
yeah, oh yeah, I actually replaced the drums one time. Wouldn't that be great if I like just replace the drums with me playing? It sound a little crappy. Like, hey man, my drums sound weird.
And
Yeah, that's
if you guys don't know why I asked the question, go listen to episode 1.
yes.
So we won't go back into that. But you have mixed Abe playing, which that's
I have.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
good,
Yeah,
good. All
to
right.
me.